let it out. And once again, and release. And one more time. Yawning's good too. Kind of a really deep breath, isn't it? So I have something to tell you, and it is what it is. We're not going to do the 4 agreements today. I knew you guys were like poised for something terrible, weren't you? No, I'm sorry, I built that up quite like that. So last night, as I'm hearing reports of the roads being closed and 128 accidents on the Deerfoot and everything, I wasn't sure how many people were going to come out today. And so I talked to Graham Clark, our board president, and we kind of went back and forth. Should we cancel service? You know, all these other things. And what we decided to do instead, because we are about half of what we would normally be on a Sunday, that we'll we'll finish with the 4 agreements next Sunday. Okay, are you okay with that? Because the agreement is always do your best. And so I want all of us to be able to do our best by being here and being able to hear it. And I wasn't sure how many people were going to come out today. So we're going to do something completely different. And it is called Pick a Page. Now, I want you to know I was prepared for the 4 agreements. However, oh wait, I forgot to tell you one other thing. So a lot of people wanted to buy this book. And we have them in the bookstore. So if you have been waiting to find a copy of the 4 agreements so you can be all read up for next week, then you can get it at the bookstore. All right? So here's what we're going to do. I have several copies of the Science of Mind text. Those of you who are new to our center may not have heard about this, but this is our teaching. This is what our teaching is based on. It's a book called The Science of Mind. And it is a compilation of Dr. Ernest Holmes, our founder, who studied science, he studied religion, he studied spirituality, and he studied philosophy. And he learned from many of the great masters, both the Eastern and the Western masters, people like Thomas Troward and Ralph Waldo Emerson and Mary Baker Eddy and the Bible and Jesus and his own teachers and his own internal wisdom. And he came together and put this thing together, which has been life-changing for anybody who has chosen to study it. Am I right? Yeah. Am I right? So, the reason why I'm holding this up is I want to show you, I love this teaching so much that I have multiple copies of this. So this is a brand new copy. You can also find this in the bookstore as well. So that's a brand new copy. This is a very special copy that I was given when I was ordained. And it is leather bound. Ooh, it's got a leather cover. And it's leather bound. And it's inscribed with my name on the front, Reverend Pat Campbell. And it's got engraving and all this other kind of stuff. And I have never used it. I actually have 2 leather-bound copies. I have never used it because, ladies and gentlemen, this is my copy. And if you're ever taking classes with me, you will understand. First of all, it's in pieces. Second of all, it is highlighted in many, many, many different colors. I can always tell which class I was in by which color highlighter I was using. The original yellow from my very first class back in 1990 has faded so much it's not even highlighted. So for our pick a page, what we are going to do, I want you to understand what a risk this is, and I want you to be kind. And if I can't get it, then Reverend Marjorie and Monica and Leslie are going to answer the questions. So, they don't know that yet. So what we're going to do here in just a minute is you all are going to pick, you're going to call out a page number, and then somebody else is going to call out a paragraph number, And then I am going to extemporaneously talk about it. I know! Oh my goodness, it would have been much easier to do the 4 agreements because I was prepared for that until about 9 o'clock last night. However, before we do that, I need to acknowledge something else very, very important. Today is a holy day. Of the room, I don't know. Today is Super Bowl Sunday. So, do we have any Patriot fans?
Yay!
Yeah! All right, 1, 2, maybe. Do we have any Eagles fans? I'm for the underdog also. Do we have anybody who really, really does not give a darn one way or another? Okay, I'm officially cutting this side of the room off. Okay, I want to share with you something that was written by George Carlin, and this is the difference between baseball and football. So just prepare yourselves for this. Baseball is played in a diamond, in a park, the baseball park. Football is played on a gridiron in a stadium with names such as Soldier Field and War Memorial Stadium. Baseball begins in the spring, the season of new life. Football begins in the fall when everything is dying. In football, you wear a helmet. In baseball, you wear a cap. In football, you receive a penalty. In baseball, you make an error. Football has hitting, clipping, spearing, piling on, personal fouls, late hits, unnecessary roughness. Baseball has the sacrifice. Football is played in any kind of weather: rain, snow, sleet, hail, fog. Can't see the game, don't know if there's a game going on, mud on the field, can't read the uniforms, can't read the yard markers. The struggle will continue. In baseball, if it rains, we don't play. I can't go out, it's raining out. Baseball has the 7th inning stretch. Football has the 2-minute warning. Baseball has no time limit. We don't know when it's going to end. Football is rigidly timed and it will end even if we have to go to sudden death. And finally, the objectives of the 2 games are completely different. In football, the object is for the quarterback, otherwise known as the field general, to be on target with his aerial assault, riddling the defense by hitting the receivers with deadly accuracy in spite of the hits, even if he has to use the shotgun. With short bullet passes and long bombs, he marches his troops to the enemy territory, balancing this aerial assault with a sustained ground attack that punches holes in the forward wall of the enemy's defensive line. In baseball, the object is to go home. And to be safe. I hope I'll be safe at home. Jeff, that was for you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. 335. I hope nobody has this and they're like picking out the most difficult ones they can think of. Page 335. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs. Number 3. All right. Y'all have a chance. Furthermore, this is in the chapter called What the Mystics Have Taught. What the mystics have taught. Furthermore, the mystics have taught that ultimate salvation of all people and the immortality of every soul. Indeed, they have taught that immortality is here and now if we would but awake to the fact. Yay, I know the answer to this one! So what Ernest Holmes talks about when he talks about mystics, you know, we even have a class that's called Mystics and Psychics, and you know, psychics, I'm not saying anything against psychics. I mean, I've been to psychics. It's kind of fun, right? But mystics are people who have tapped into truth. There's no go-between. There's no intermediary between the mystic, that person who just knows and knows that they know, because they are receiving a direct download. They have a direct line to the ultimate truth. And what he's saying in this particular chapter, he's talking about immortality. Every mystic has taught that life is immortal, that life is ongoing, that just because on this plane of existence we may not live forever, because let's face it, these bodies are not planned to live forever. We are not planned to live for 1,000 years on this plane in these bodies. But our souls, our consciousness, continues on forever and ever and ever, because all there is the divine. All there is God. That means each one of us has that spark of the divine, is that individualization of the one. Therefore, we cannot die. We can transform, we can transcend this lifetime, but we, our essence, our consciousness, does not die. That makes sense? So when he's talking here about immortality is here and now, if we would but awake to the fact, think about that. Think about if you truly knew that, Pat Campbell, if you truly knew that immortality is here and now, and that you are an expression of the divine and life goes on forever and ever, you, Pat Campbell, Reverend Dr. Pat Campbell, would not have been afraid to drive on the roads today. And I say to all of you, if you truly, yeah, you did, but if you truly knew that you were divine, that you were immortal, that your life is ongoing beyond this realm, how would you be different? How would you walk through life? Just something to think of. Okay, next page.
219.
219! Somebody's been waiting with that one. All right. I'm really liking my book is in pieces because it's so much easier to... Okay, 219, 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs. Two. This is under the chapter of physical perfection, and it's under the heading of do not try to go beyond your understanding. Let's see what he has about that. I'll let you know I don't have anything highlighted here, so we're going to be learning this together. Since our spiritual understanding is not sufficient to enable us to mentally set bones, we call in a surgeon. Since we cannot walk on the water, we take a boat. We can only go as far as our spiritual knowledge takes us. Principle is infinite, but we shall demonstrate its power only at the level of our concept of it. Okay, this is really, really good. So we say in this teaching, we say that you can do anything, right? Absolutely, you can do anything. So if you could walk on water, you would walk on water. If you could set bones mentally, you would set bones mentally. But the fact of the matter is, just like we've been talking with the 4 agreements, we don't think we can. We don't believe that we can. Truly down deep inside of us, we have agreements that say our abilities in life are limited. And Ernest Holmes is saying your abilities in life are limited according to your belief and your concept of it. Does that make sense? Are you agreeing with me? So, as we enlarge our consciousness, as we begin to accept more of this spiritual stuff as being true, then the more quote-unquote miracles we will be performing. In fact, I think we're already doing it. Let me tell you why I say that. So Ernest Holmes wrote this book in 1926. Anybody here alive in 1926? You'd be awfully mature. Huh? William says we all were. Yes, that's true. So alive and conscious is the question. So I want you to just think for a moment how technology has changed the world since 1926. This was when talking movies were not even in existence yet. Telephones were in cities, but not necessarily in personal homes. Radio hadn't come around yet. There was certainly no such thing as television. There was no such thing as cell phones or the internet. There was no such thing as streaming videos. There was no such thing as operations where they use a robot to go in and fix things. There was no such thing as doing surgery to repair that broken leg that he's talking about. So my point is, in Ernest Holmes' times, so many of the things that we take for granted, things that we don't even think twice about, would have seemed to be miraculous to him. So the reason why I bring that up is I think our consciousness is absolutely expanding beyond what it was in 1926 when Ernest Holmes was writing this book. That makes sense? Yeah. You with me? Yeah. Shall we go on? Yeah. All right?
296.
296. Oh, Law of Attraction, my favorite chapter. Yay, you get a gold star. Paragraph star. 1, 2, 3, or 4. 1. Okay, I'm going to go with 4 because it's the one I heard first. This is the chapter on Law of Attraction. Anybody here ever heard of the Law of Attraction? Yeah. Who's here because you've heard of the Law of Attraction? Yeah, a lot of people, you know, once again, I want to tell you that Ernest Holmes wrote this book in 1926, The Law of Attraction, long before The Secret came out. A whole lot of years before The Secret came out. That's because The Secret wasn't really a secret. People didn't maybe know about it yet, but it's been around. It's one of those laws. Okay, excuse me. So which chapter were we going with? 4. Now we know, and knowing means using the law in a constructive way. I and the Father are one. This is strength for the weak and life for all who believe. We can so fill ourselves with the drawing power of attraction that it will become irresistible. Nothing can hinder the man who knows that he is dealing with the one power that creates all from itself, moves all within itself, and yet holds everything in its place. One with the infinite mind, one with the personality of God. Woo-hoo! Okay. Wow, so much there, right? First of all, who said I and the Father are one? Jesus said that. Jesus, that guy, who knew about the law of attraction, by the way. He just didn't call it that. So what did he say? Oh, sorry. I haven't fixed not being able to see without my glasses yet. Means using the law in a constructive way. I and the Father are one. We can fill ourselves so much with the drawing power of attraction that it will become irresistible. So Jesus understood that when we are allowing the Father, you know, I would never say that really, right? But when we are allowing that invisible essence, that ultimate power, when we are allowing that to shine, when we are allowing it to be what we are creating a vortex of attraction that is going to draw to us those things that we have set our sights on, those things that we have said that we want to attract in our life. If we have not attracted it yet, it's because we are somehow hiding that light under a bushel. We are somehow not allowing it to fully be. So what Holmes is saying here is the law of attraction is take that thing that you want and infuse it with all of your that. All of your passion, all of your belief, all of your energy, infuse it into letting that light shine. And it's creating this thing that cannot help but return to you. We always say that the law does not return to us void. It is going to bring back to us what it is and how it is that we are living and thinking. I'm going to give you an example. I was going to save this for a talk, and I'm still going to, but now that I'm doing Law of Attraction next week, it'll be in a couple of weeks. So I watched this movie called Eddie the Eagle the other day, about the Calgary Olympics, right? And this was this, and they took a lot of poetic license. But here was this kid who, from the time that he was just a little kid, he wanted to be in the Olympics. He didn't even know what he wanted to do in the Olympics in the beginning of the movie. He just knew that he wanted, and he dreamed about it. And he had the 5 rings up in his room, and he would look at it, and he would just infuse it with such energy and such belief. And then he tried to do downhill skiing, but he wasn't very good at that. So then he decided, without any training whatsoever, according to the movie, that's actually not true, but anyway, according to the movie, that he started doing I was going to say high jump, that's not what it's called. Ski jump. And he didn't know how to do it, but he took himself to the place where he could learn it, and he attracted to him somebody who was kind to him, and then he attracted a coach, and he attracted all these other kinds of things because he was living in that dream. He was living in that field of possibility. And then what happened was he was able to they were not going to let him into the Olympics because he really didn't know what he was doing. But it didn't matter. He had this dream. He had this idea that he was going to be in the Olympics, and by golly, by gum, he was. And he was famous here, right? All of you knew. People kept saying to me, "You got to see this movie." It's like, I've never heard of it. I'm not sure I was sober in '88. No, I was just sober in '88, so I wouldn't have remembered that. I talk about everything. Those of you who are new, I can't believe she just said that. You know what? It's true. Different story, different time. But do you understand then what I'm talking about? The law of attraction here. That he says we can. We can so fill ourselves with the drawing power of attraction that it will become irresistible. Nothing can hinder the man who knows he is dealing with the one power that creates all from itself, moves all from itself, and yet holds everything in its place. So that's what Eddie the Eagle did. So he had that dream, and he never strayed from it. Amy Bishop. You know what I'm saying here? Amy is not 16. Yeah, I didn't. But she has been in this teaching. She has been a singer. She has been a stellar musician for many, many years, and she has always had her eye on that. Always had her eye on that. And if you are not watching what's going on with her and with her career, you're not paying attention. You're the darling of the launch. Yeah. They just don't know it yet. Okay, I'm moving on. 292. This is going to be our last one. 292. And, the chapter of mental equivalence. Yet another favorite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs.
5.
Really? No. So this is the chapter of mental equivalence. Students of mine in the Troward class, what else are we talking about if we're talking about mental equivalence?
Spiritual prototype.
Thank you. Who said that? Gerald. Spiritual prototype. So this is mental equivalence. Ernest Holmes is saying we've got to have the mental idea in mind, like Eddie the Eagle or Amy the Bishop, and mind, that's your mental equivalent, but it can also be negative, right? We can have negative mental equivalents as well. So he says here, for the man who believes that business is bad, for the one who thinks he has made many mistakes and will make more, for the one who sees nothing but inactivity around him, the following meditation might be used. And he goes on to say, use this as our treatment. Close your eyes as I read this. That would be lovely, Eskimo. Thank you. Yes? My microphone? Oh, thank you. I've been wild up here. Okay, I'm going to read it again as Esteban says up here. For the man who believes that business is bad, for the one who thinks he's made many mistakes and will make more, for the man who sees nothing but inactivity about him, the following meditation might be used. Close your eyes. I am now at the threshold of all good, wisdom, and truth. All the good I can embody is now mine. I have only to open the portals of my soul and accept that which is ready to express through me. I expect fully and emphatically the answer to my prayer today. Right now, do I possess this thing I so greatly desire? I remove my fear of lack and negation, for it is the only barrier which stands in the way of my experience of good. I alone can remove it, and I do remove it now. In this moment, my good comes to me, enough and to spare, to give and to share. I can never be exhausted. My good can never be depleted, because that source from which my good comes is inexhaustible. Today, in this moment, the law responds to my thought. My word is one of affirmation, rising from the knowledge that the good, the enduring, and the true are eternalities in my experience. I cannot be apart from that which is my good. My good is assured to me by God, the indwelling essence of my life. Take in a deep breath. Allow those words to sink in. I cannot be apart from that which is my good. It is assured to me by the indwelling essence of my life. We know this to be so. We are grateful that this is so. As together we affirm, and so it is. Well, thank you all for helping me do my talk today.